One of the quickest and top ways to build trust is to act out of abundance instead of scarcity. And one of the first ways that you could do that when you show up to a client is when you're at that first meeting and you're going to show them houses. This is on a buyer side of things, and you're presenting them with that buyer's brokerage agreement, or in certain cases, a showing agreement, right? Whether that's your brokerages, you have your own, something that complies with the law. Well, instead of signing it for a long term, and saying, you're locked in with me without saying it. I mean, I know most of you are not going to say you're locked in with me, though I'll tell you a story here in a minute. You show up, and in handwriting, under the additional terms, you write in that this agreement applies to ABC property. Let's say it's one property, or if it's three properties, write all three of them in for today only. You put the date in where I'm saying today. So for 6/29/2026 only. And you point that out to them right off the bat. You say, hey, this is an agreement that legally gives me the right to show you the property. It also discusses compensation, though when we get to offers, that's when we're really going to discuss exactly how we present it, if we're asking the seller to contribute, if you're going to pay that compensation out of pocket. But I'll give you the full details and net sheet of the deal terms when we discuss and find the property that you want to move forward on. However, one of the things that I like to always mention is right here that this is good for these properties only and for today only. And the reason being is you haven't met me, you haven't really seen what type of value I deliver. And therefore, I don't expect you to lock arms with me right away. I don't expect you to give me your business. I expect that I have to earn your business. By the end of the day, I'm hoping that you'll see exactly what value I deliver, and that we can go into a more permanent agreement if it suits you. And by doing that right off the bat, they're looking at it like you don't need the business. You're not trying to lock them in, and they feel much more comfortable. And that builds trust. They realize that you know that you have to show up, that you have to deliver value, and that you have to earn their business. Now, I said I'd tell you a story, and I was on the phone with somebody the other day, and they wanted to see a home, and they said, so do I have to sign an agreement with you? And I said, yeah, there's a formality agreement. However, the way that I do it is for the single property that I'm going to show you and for that day only, meaning that tomorrow, that agreement is effectively null and void, and you could go and use whoever you'd like, though my expectation is that I'm going to show you value and earn your business. And they said, oh, I really like that, because the other person I called told me that it was a 1-year agreement and that I'd be locked into using them. And I said, but I don't even know you. How do I know if I want to choose you as my agent? And they said, that's just the way it is. That blew my mind, that somebody would come off like that without even knowing them and say, yeah, we're getting married for at least a year. You could divorce me after a year, but for that year, you're mine. Now, that is bad, bad.